Hey, we're coming at you again, the Claywell boys. Last time we were here, we talked about community involvement and making art and mental health and dreams and started all together with Big Stick. Um, Today, I kind of want to remind us what the mission is. And for me, that's the keeping of a journal. For Pops, that's the working of your dreams so as to improve and or stabilize, or whatever word you want to use, your mental health. Now, with the journal keeping, what I wanted to start with first and foremost is that part of what the idea is to go out there and be curious, to go out there and be involved in it actively, to pursue things that interest you. That way, you have something to write about. That way, you have something to reflect upon because you're going to be involved in whatever scenario or scene that you are involved in. And that's where the benefit of keeping the journal comes into play, in my opinion, because what happens is it makes you an explorer or a detective or whatever uh, analogy you want to use. In that, you'd start to notice things. You start to notice how people behave, how people interact with you, how that makes you feel, and so on and so on and so on to infinity, because you're more of a participant than an extra, if you will. You're more an actor than an extra. You are in the scene, you're in the film, you're in the situation. You are. And that's always been super hyper ridiculously important to me because I think that's where one lives one's life, or they don't. You know, if you choose to sit in your living room with the TV on and a 12 pack of beer next to you or whatever it is and not do anything, just sit there and watch and you know, you're entertained and time passes, but that's about it. So I want us to remember that doing the things that old Pops and I are asking you to do are they're part of a larger thing. What do you think?
That's what you do. Be involved in your life. I mean, be in charge of your life. Be active. Be observe, just like Jay's saying. Get involved in your life so that it just doesn't happen, but you are participating in it. You know, that's what you want to do. That's why all these people are here, so that you guys can interact, so that you can do things with each other and be friends and co-workers and so forth and so on. And the problem is, like Jay says, we back away. We back away and it could be because of a bad experience as a child. It could be a bad experience as a young lady who's raped, and she says, I just got to hide from the world because it's dangerous out there. Mm-hmm. That's all true. It could be dangerous. It could be, you could be apprehensive, etc. All that stuff. Mm-hmm. But that's where dreams come in. And I know it sounds crazy. And I know, I just know it because we have been taught forever. But I've been thinking about that. You drive down the street, you're stopped at the stoplight, you look at the guy next to you, and what's he thinking? You haven't any idea. And there's no way for you to know. You drive by a house or a building and you say, I wonder what it looks like in there. Well, you just have no idea because you can't see into it. You'd have to get out, you'd have to go into it and look around. And the same thing is with dreams. Dreams are pictures and videos and stories in your mind. And the only way you could know what that dream is about is by standing up, getting in a quiet place in your house, someplace in the garage or the utility room, or I've even done them in the bathroom. Close the door and you're all by yourself. Nobody knows you're there. And you stand up, you walk into your dream, and then you talk as though you are the tree that's in the dream or the car that's in your dream. What is the message? And the message is, my friend, is get involved with life.
Mm-hmm.
Repair whatever needs repairing in your life. And because it's saying that, you're going to pay attention to that. You're going to deal with that issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what dreams are for. It's it's like I think of self-therapy.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing it forever, for millions of years. When we were evolving in forests and jungles and so on, all that stuff, we weren't very sophisticated, but we were trying. And so what your mind did was says, well, I'm going to try and help. And it's all about what if? What if you have a problem here? What if there's a large animal out here? What if? What if? What if? And then you start paying attention. Well, now today, we don't have large animals outside. You don't have any lions and tigers trying to eat you. But the instinct still exists. And we're still dealing with problems that you may have at work,
Mm-hmm.
or parenting, or raising children, or whatever it might be. And your mind will help you by giving you dreams to understand what you're doing and how you can improve, and how you can make repairs and go forward some more. Okay, Jay, talk to them some more.
All right. Um, we've got this idea that Pops and I keep coming back to of self therapy. The more common vernacular now is self care, taking care of oneself, making sure one makes time to do that, to be actively in search of and making efforts to repair any sort of damages or anything like that. But then, especially for guys, really, any sort of self care is seen as weakness. That's not the case.
Uh,
That's not the case. Um, us guys need as much self repair as the ladies. Us guys need as much time to do this sort of thing as the gals. Um, us guys, it's still June, so it's still men's mental health awareness month. So I'm still railing on this a little bit because I see it. I see it. I work in an environment that is rife with men with mental health concerns. And that's what we do. We try and talk our way through it and repair as best we can and find root problems and so forth. Like I told you last time, what do you think about when you think about what you really want to think about? Well, it's time to start thinking those thoughts and time to start talking to oneself in that way, in a way that feels good and makes sense and makes you feel better about your role in the world, in the universe, whatever you want to say. Um, Dad's talking about trees and cars and so forth in your dream. But I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a fun thing. Uh, Yesterday evening, Pops and I were at a relatively nice restaurant, and the staff were very, very friendly and very, very accommodating and so on and so forth. But one of them I noticed in particular. One of them was a very spry, we'll call her, young lady. And anytime she moved, it was quick. And she had a little bop to her the whole every time for no reason. Water, tea, French fries, whatever she was bringing out, didn't matter. There was always a little bop going, and I had no idea what that story was about. Why that bop exists, man? I would guess she doesn't know either. It's just her, and that's good. That's wonderful. She's got some energy that maybe her counterparts don't have. I don't know, but I noticed her. And that's what I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to be some weirdo that's staring at people or doing anything like that. But see people for what they are. See them for your fellow travelers, as it were. See them for what they are. And pay attention and take joy in any joy that you see. Easy, easy. And difficult all at the same time. But I loved that bop. And I'm not gonna pretend to know what it's about, but I might write about it a little bit. I might make her into a story. I might make her into a poem. I might even, next time we're there, if we're there again, show it to her. I don't know. That'll be another journal entry in and of itself. I guess I'll just have to wait to see what happens.
See, that's just good mental health. And that's what we're talking about. Jay, observe your life as you live it, and me, do the same, but you have an extra helper. Your mind, yourself, you helping you, and your mind. Think about it. All the things, all the decisions, everything you do during the day, your mind is just working. At night, mind says, hey, I know about an old problem you've got. You were abused as a child, and you're still suffering because of that. Well, here's an idea. Here's a thought. Why don't you, do something, whatever the dream is and tells you. So you step into it, and you act out all the parts, and I know that you will get a message, and it will be a positive one to help you live your life better.
All right. Well, I think that's what we wanted to cover today. I still would encourage you to watch these as we put them out. If you want to revisit one or two of them because you liked what we said, you liked what the message was, it resonated with you, leave us some commentary, subscribe, like, and so on. As they say, Pop's got his commercial ready, so here we go.
Here's a little book I wrote, Dream Therapy, and it's a shorty, but it's good, and it tells you how I did it, how I started from nothing. I was really a mess, to resolving my central issue, which was my father's abuse. So here's a good little book, and you get it at, where do you get it? You get it at Rush Printing, and it's rushprinting.net. And look them up and see what's going on. And I think that you're going to have a great time looking at this and then doing what Jay and I are suggesting, because it's really, both of these issues have helped us have positive lives.
Absolutely.
And that's what we want out there. We want you to have the joy of living, anything like that. We want you to enjoy your life. So if you need a little help along the way, you've got journals, which is you, and you've got dreams, and then the world just opens up for you.
Right. And Pops talks about his base reason for why he's doing what he's doing. He mentions his the abuse that he endured as a child. Also, I would have to say, and I may have mentioned it before, but I know that I don't mention it a lot. I was born with cerebral palsy. I have absolutely no sense of balance, very little muscle control in my lower extremities, and I walk with forearm crutches every day. So I have a disability that you can see if you see me out walking around. And that comes with some baggage, and that baggage has been resolved to one degree or another. Not completely, then I don't think that'll ever happen, to be quite honest, but resolved by way of journal keeping and making art and being involved in my community and kind of forcing myself outside of my comfort zone, which is exactly what doing these videos is as well. But the more I do them and the more I enjoy them, the more comfortable we get together, bouncing ideas off of one another. We don't ever disagree on how to do these things. And we're just trying to encourage you as best we can. So we hope you keep up with us. We're going to keep up with you as best we can. Send us some information, send us some questions. We'll respond as best we can. And we just thank you very much for hanging out with us. You have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.
Okay. Woo.